Hello and welcome to Leeds Tax News. I'm Jack Church.
And I'm Emily Conneran. Here are today's headlines.
Leeds General Infirmary have released their plans for 2 new hospitals.
And some Leeds vegan cafes may be in trouble as bigger companies begin introducing vegan options to their menus.
Plans for 2 new hospitals at Leeds General Infirmary are now available for local people to see.
The brief includes a new children's hospital, state-of-the-art healthcare services and more parking. Lily Ryder reports.
Leeds General Infirmary has been open for 149 years and they are now looking to move forward to create hospitals of the future. The landmark for healthcare will be situated in Leeds, offering the best treatment, new technology, innovation and research. Directors estimate that the first patients will be treated at the new hospital in 6 to 7 years.
In particular, the new children's hospital will bring together for the first time all the children's services in Leeds, children's hospital services in Leeds, under one roof. So there'll be an enormous advantage for children. For adult services, we're as I say, moving out of accommodation that's very old and not fit for purpose. And we're also going to be bringing together maternity and neonatal services onto a single site. So at the moment we've got those services duplicated and we're going to have them in just one place in the future. Obviously, the main benefit for patients will be access to these new facilities with much bigger bed spaces, much more intensive care beds, much more operating theatre capacity.
The development is estimated to cost £450 million. The old nurses' home at Leeds General Infirmary is looking to be replaced by the new hospitals. Hospitals of the Future for Leeds has identified buildings no longer suitable and outdated for modern healthcare. Therefore, some will be replaced and some will be redeveloped. If you have any queries or are interested in the latest updates on the project, visit the website. Lily Ryder reporting for Leeds Hacks.
Younger people are using mobile apps to get professional help regarding poor mental health. Most of these apps are free and offer guidance at the touch of a button.
Last year, 37% of young people were refused help from the NHS due to a rising number of patients. Apps such as Catch It can connect people to counsellors almost instantly and provide mental health assessments.
Like the app actually is a lot more accessible for people who are obviously suffering from mental health issues. Personally, I feel as though it does help a lot because obviously with the NHS, you got to go in, make appointments, you've got to wait a long time. And obviously within this time as well, everything can be so confusing for you and obviously very stressful, whereas these apps are more accessible to download. I feel as though I'm able to speak my mind more. I feel as though it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders from having it like compress me down a lot, because obviously dealing with a lot of issues myself, it's very draining, it's emotionally draining as well as like mentally draining. So I feel as though having the app there with like constant help or like advice or like just anything for me to relieve the stress and pressure, I feel as though that is honestly helping me. It's helping me become more of myself that I was before. I do feel as though people who are struggling, if they do not have that person or people there to talk to relieve any of that stress or relieve any tension within themselves, I do feel as though the app is a great way to actually relieve some of that. I feel as though a lot more people should be using them.
Hundreds of new council houses are to be built in Leeds. The City Council is to deliver one of its most ambitious housing programmes ever over the next 3 years. Our reporter James Brennan has been following the story.
So James, what is the council planning?
Well, in one of the most ambitious plans of recent times, they're planning to build 358 new homes over the next 3 years. It comes as part of the local housing new build programme, which has already seen 1,000 houses be implemented in the city. It's their response to the housing crisis we currently have.
So where's the money coming from?
The majority of the money is coming from the housing revenue account. They've already agreed to borrow £180 million for the construction of the houses after senior councillors gave the green light to the construction of affordable housing in the city. However, most of the money has already been distributed out through a variety of programmes.
So how come this is only happening now? Why not before?
It comes after the Prime Minister announced the abolition of the cap on the amount of money the council could borrow from the housing revenue account. Previously, there would be restrictions in place to stop building like this, but now once it's confirmed, the council will be able to press on with a significant programme without any restrictions.
So when are people likely to see the benefits of this extra funding?
Well, the first stage of obtaining the sites goes live in 2019, but the final construction shouldn't be ready until December 2021.
And now some national news. There are nearly 7,000 children and young adults with type 2 diabetes in England, about 10 times the number reported before according to Diabetes UK. Child health experts said that the government should act now to implement proposals to cut childhood obesity.
Leeds Grand Theatre celebrated its 140th birthday this week. The theatre first opened its doors in 1878 and a 2-week series of events is taking place to mark the occasion. Their chief executive described the celebrations as having a huge buzz, and you can catch a special performance of Broadway's Jersey Boys for the rest of the month.
A number of vegan restaurants in Leeds have had to close as more supermarkets and chains offer vegan options for their customers.
There are claims among some small business owners that big chains like Pizza Express, Wagamama's and Zzz's are buying into the green pound by introducing vegan choices on their menus.
Difficult with big chains offering vegan options, but I think the strength of the independent food scene in Leeds as it is really plays into the hands of the sort of independent vegan restaurants, and I think every business goes through its tougher times. You know, it's hard enough in the economy at the moment as it is, so making changes to try and move yourself forward is, I think, quite a good idea, is a good thing. So yeah.
Tomorrow is Black Friday, but shopkeepers in Leeds have backed a campaign to support small and local businesses.
The Just a Card campaign aims to encourage more people to buy from an independent shop, to make people aware that even just buying a card contributes to the artist and their business.
For a small business, it's a really great campaign. In here we have about 70 local artists and makers, or many of it's their sole income. For someone to come in who may not be able to afford like £100 picture or something like that, just to buy the card version means as much to the maker. It's great to see actually quite a lot of big corporates not supporting Black Friday this year as well. It's American import, we don't need it. It just drives costs down and gives it unrealistic margins for consumers as well. So by supporting independents to take their place and kind of readdress the balance, then hopefully something like the Just a Car campaign can actually start to move and change.
Business-minded students are earning hundreds of pounds per month using a clothing marketplace app. Collecting recycled garments for charity shops and car boot sales and selling them on Depop, in some cases making around £700 a month from the trend for vintage and reused fashion.
The idea of vintage is that after you've worn it, you might be the 5th person, so it's not just second hand, it might be 5th hand, but then still it will have wear in it to hand it on to the next person. So it continues on its journey, and it's all the stories that it collects along the way of the different people who've worn that clothing.
Leeds Festival is facing a backlash for a lack of headline female artists.
It's one of the biggest music festivals in the UK, but a female has not headlined since 2013.
I think it's really tough for festival bookers to kind of work with a wide range of female headliners, but I do think it's also important to at all points be trying to promote a level of female artists, and I think there's a real tough ask for promoters to kind of reconcile like what they think they need to do to sell tickets and their perception of what female artist was. The sad thing is I suspect like there's loads of female artists who could sell quite a lot of tickets. It's just needing the industry to have that kind of leap of faith for them. I think it's about putting female artists in a position where they're reaching newer and bigger audiences, and I do definitely think to an extent that's happening. Certainly small festivals are really running with that and really proactively booking female-led artists in like high-profile slots, but I definitely think there's still scope for it. I think just the symbolic nature of a festival like Leeds Reading having put more women at the top of the bill, and like when Florence and the Machine headline Glastonbury, I think that can have a resonating impact. I mean, I do think with Leeds Reading Day, it does feel like they've actually put more women in the slots that they've announced at the minute, but there could have been a much bigger statement if they'd been able to do it.
We had some snow and ice in some parts of Yorkshire this morning. Emily, how's the weather looking for the next couple of days?
Well, it's been pretty miserable in Leeds for the last few days, so I'm hoping for some Christmas snow soon.
Me too. Well, goodbye from us here at Leeds Sax.
Goodbye.